James Londis, James the Wine Guy. In this video, I'm going to talk about the components that make up this beautiful wine called Quimera. It is by Achaval-Ferrer. Stay tuned. So in this wine here, now I have 4 out of the 5 components that make up this wine. Achaval-Ferrer Quimera. Now the lead partner in this wine, now this is just a sample review copy. It is the same juice you'd find in the labeled version. But so in this video here, I'm not going to do a point scoring on this because I don't have the official label. So that is something that I definitely depend on. And that's because simply this, I want to make sure that you have trust in the point score I'm giving in the particular wine. So on this, it's just really educational, really going through each of the components that make up this particular wine. So this is a pretty rare tasting. I did a Twitter tasting called Malbec Meetup, M-E-A-T, instead of M-E-E-T. And the purpose of that particular tasting was to go through the components and really get that handshake and recognition and really taste the final product. So this is a Malbec-based Bordeaux blend from Argentina. Now, again, this is not a review copy. The juice or the wine is the same as it would be in the bottle that is produced with a label. But I just want to really show you and give honesty in my review and thoughts as I go along the way. So this is a suggested retail price point of $34.99. And tasting through this wine, it is really a fantastic wine. I've tasted Quimera for several vintages previous to this, and it is a really beautiful, gorgeous wine. So this is a very inclusive blending here of all the 5 Bordeaux varieties. So here we go. First, I'm going to start off with the Cabernet Franc and then going through and culminating in a review taste of this wine. And again, I'm not going to give a point score on this particular bottling. So this is a Cabernet Franc. Again, this is going to be the same vintage, of course, and a 14.5% ABV. Not much to show on this except this is 100% of Cabernet Franc in this particular bottling. And again, really the purpose on this particular Malbec Meetup was to really taste the variety, and it's very magical. And I looked at my notes and I thought, wow, they're quite varied in terms of each single variety, and then that boils up to a very different Bordeaux blend altogether. And I think that's a magic and artistry of wine and blending. Beautiful characterization of red rose, petal, raspberry, black cherry, and cedar forest. And next, the flavor characterization. Then after that will be the Petit Verdot. So a beautiful characterization on this one includes black cherry, blackberry, rose petal, tarragon, pepper, and cinnamon. Next is the Petit Verdot. And here we go with this wine, and I love this glass here. It's really capturing these exquisite Bordeaux variety notes. And Petit Verdot, again, you're going to see same vintage, 2012, 14.5% ABV. So the scent characterization includes suede, leather, fresh herb garden, leather-bound library, and moist forest. Next is the flavor characterization, and then the next wine will be the Cabernet Sauvignon. So a beautiful characterization of black cherry, pomegranate, bay leaf, marjoram, and Malabar pepper. So I think Petit Verdot is one of these varieties, and a lot of people really enjoy it. And I would say this, there are some really outstanding Petit Verdot 100% bottlings. However, I've tasted some that are just really should never been bottled on their own. They needed a lead, or maybe not a lead partner, but an additional partner, Bordeaux variety, to really, give a different wine characteristic and tone down what I call the weedy characteristics of Petit Verdot. Weedy is that really intense greenness, and then when you have that intense greenness along with high acid tones, it really comes out to be a very acrid wine. That is something that's on your tongue, it's on your teeth, and super staining capabilities, and not a lot of flavor. Next, the Cabernet Sauvignon. Again, you're going to see this 2012 vintage, 14.5% ABV. So the ABVs are across the board are the same. So scent characterization first, and then the flavor profile. So in this, I'm getting notes of tayberry, cherry, dried herbs, underbrush, and pepper. And next is the flavor characterization. And then after that, we're going to talk about the Malbec. I wanted to say the Malbec for the last tasting before we get to Quimera. So here we go. And flavor characteristics include cassis, espresso, black cherry, lavender, white pepper, and bay leaf. And lastly, the Malbec. The reason I wanted to say the Malbec to the last was this is the lead partner here. And, in the Twitter meetup, Malbec meetup, Santiago Achaval was talking about the experience at Quimera. And really that this is, a wine that's going to be the expression of Mendoza, but also really giving those beautiful characteristic variety partners, Bordeaux variety partners, to have a play and have a say. And in doing so, I think come up with a very different characteristic. So we'll taste that wine last. And then I was really looking at my notes and I thought, they're very different. Every single variety component is very different. And then you add up the final blend, and that is a different wine altogether. It's absolutely beautiful. So next is the scent characterization, then the flavor profile. So on this, I'm getting notes of tayberry, red cherry, Ethiopian coffee, and suede. Very, very definitively Malbec. So next is the flavor characterization. Notes on this one include blueberry, pepper, lavender, sage, and allspice. And next is the final reason why I'm here, which is the Achaval-Ferrer Quimera wine. So here we go. And so that's the reason why, I really wanted to do this tasting, because the expression of each variety is, I wouldn't say radically different. I think there's a handshake happening between all Bordeaux varieties, and some are more expressive in terms of maybe a characterization on the scent or flavor profile, and or both, as well as really acid structure plays into it. And the acid structure is going to dictate a lot of different things on the wine, and they're going to blend differently in terms of, each percentage is going to be that, say, that symphonic note that really characterizes what this wine is going to be like, the final wine. And you do so in terms of, the rules for this wine in particular was that Malbec was a lead partner. It doesn't have to be 65% or 55% or 45%. It could be anything as long as it is a lead variety compared to the other varieties. And I think it's a good way to go, especially for Argentina, for Mendoza. So this wine is, and I'll give a reminder, the only variety that I did not get to taste was the Merlot, but I can just imagine, Merlot is 16% of this, but definitely if you minus 100% minus 16, I tasted the entire wine in terms of variety signature and culminating in this particular bottling. So 50% Malbec, 24% Cabernet Franc, 16% Merlot, 8% Cabernet Sauvignon, and 2% Petit Verdot. Scent and flavor characterizations are next. Beautiful wine, and I think that's the complexity of this wine, is really coming together and giving that marriage. So the artistic point of this wine is just absolutely sublime and beautiful. And that's the artistry of wine. And a lot of people think it's just science, or that wine is grown in the vineyard site, which is true to a degree. And it does take human effort, right? And there's no doubt about it. You need that human touch in order to make a wine an outstanding wine versus one that could be passable. And I think that's where the artistry comes in, and especially in terms of the blend. So here we go. First to the scent characterization, then the flavor profile. And I won't do a point score again, because on this it's just really to talk about the variety components and the final wine. So here we go. So notes on this include blackberry, acai, leather, wood pile, and sweet violets. And next, the flavor characterization. Notes on this one include blackberry, plum, bay leaf, violets, lavender, and cardamom. So to taste the final blend of this is fantastic. This is an exemplary example, if you will, in terms of really beautiful Bordeaux varieties and Bordeaux blend coming from Argentina. So thank you so much for watching this video today. I really appreciate it. Questions and comments down below. The like button's there as well, so please hit that if you don't mind. And the subscribe button's right here, so hit that as well. And do me another favor, share this video on your favorite social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, LinkedIn, as well as Instagram and WordPress. Thank you again for watching today. Stay tuned for many more wine reviews from all around the planet. Salud!